see. All right, just get everyone to tune in. Okay. Hey guys, I'm just gonna wait for everyone to tune in. Oh, I see Hannah's here. Hannah's ready. All right, give me a second. I'll request in 1 moment. Just give people some time to join in. Hey Victoria. Hey Mumbi. Okay. So I guess I'll get started. It's 4 o'clock now. So, hey guys, I'm Tracy Landu. I'm a journalist. I'm in my final year of uni studying journalism at Kingston University. And today I'll be hosting the She Sessions Live with Hannah Ajala, who is a journalist. She's been at the BBC for 5 years and she's currently in Africa doing freelance work. So I'm going to invite her to join the live now and we can get started. Okay. Just get connection going. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm very well. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Thank you so much for having me. I mean, I've had a bit of a stressful day, but it is 10 times better now that I've seen your lovely face.
Oh, you too. I miss you. Oh, it's been
ages. Miss you too. By the way, the sound in the background is the generator, aka the gem, what we call it in Nigeria. I'm sure you definitely have similar back home, Tracy, where you want the electricity to come. So I will be projecting just to ensure that I am heard loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we're going to get started with an icebreaker. So it's just quick fire questions. You have 5 seconds to answer them. I'll be looking over here because they're on my notes. So it's 5 seconds to answer each of them, and there's 7. So, okay, let's start with the first one. So name the last thing you ate.
Wait, say that again?
Name the last thing you ate.
The last thing I ate was yam and egg. Delicious.
Oh my gosh. I believe it. All right. Second question. What was the last country you visited?
Senegal, just before Nigeria.
Oh, lovely. What was the last concert you attended?
Oh, it would probably be one at Afro Nation Ghana, I would say.
Oh, okay. How was it?
Yeah, Afro Nation Ghana, I'd say. Yeah.
How was Ghana?
Very eventful, especially around December time. So much going on. Such a great time spending time with so many of my friends and really connecting with people within the diaspora. The vibes were just really beautiful. So yeah, I'm here for it. With more people going back.
Lovely. All right, I picked this question on purpose because it's going to be kind of hard. But name the last tube station that you tapped out of.
The last what? Sorry.
Tube station.
Oh my gosh, tube station. When was the last time I was in that German-infested surroundings? Oh, I know. It was when I was leaving London to go to Accra in December.
Okay.
So that was London Heathrow Terminal 2.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. All right, what was the last place or event that you spoke at?
The last place or event I spoke at was last week via my travel page, Ajala Travels, where I spoke with another travel blogger called My Breaking View. So that was on IG Live, and it was really fun.
Lovely. All right, what was the last song that you listened to?
The last song that I listened to was it gospel? I played a bit of gospel earlier today just to sort of calm my annoyance. It was probably, I think it was Kirk Franklin. Yeah.
What song?
It was, what do you call it? It's so annoying because I listen to it all the time. When it comes into mind, I'm gonna sing it for you.
Cool, no worries. Sing it. You can sing it at the end of the live if you remember.
The blessing of Abraham. The blessing of Abraham.
Okay. All right. Perfect. I still want you to sing it at the end of the live. And lastly, what is the first thing you want to do after lockdown?
The first thing I want to do after lockdown is go to like a really fun and lively brunch, like with loads of music. Lagos is quite good for that, so it would be really nice to hit one here. If not, brunch anywhere, because brunch is always a good idea. So yeah. Fair
enough. I know, something simple. I just want to be out as well and just get back to normal. It's been
outside. I miss you outside.
I know, me too. Even though the weather's miserable right now, but yeah, listen. When you see the freedom.
Sorry.
What?
I can't relate to bad weather. So.
Oh, you can't. I know, it's not fair. It's not fair. You've got loads of sun, but hey, it's all right.
I'm sweating right now. Actually, I'm gonna grab my fan. It's just behind me.
Okay.
That's how hot it is. Okay, we're back in the zone.
Cool, lovely. All right, so we're going to move on to the main section, I guess, of the live and talk a bit more about your career, what you do, and how you kind of got into journalism. So first question is, for those who don't know, what does a journalist do, or what does journalism entail, the industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just going to take it back to really simple terms, guys. I was 15 years old, and that was the first time that I heard that word. My English teacher, Miss Barnett, huge shout out to her, she's super lovely. I really liked the way I expressed myself and said I should look into it. I did the normal thing that I guess many people do. Went to Wikipedia, typed in the word journalist, and I saw that the simple meaning of it is someone that produces and presents stories over a variety of different platforms, whether that's on TV, whether that's on radio, or whether that's in print. And I remember literally just seeing a picture of a woman on the Wikipedia page holding a microphone, and I printed out that piece of paper and stuck it on my wall. And it sounded very simple to me because I guess essentially that is what journalists do. They provide information to the masses.
Definitely. Okay, so tell me a bit more about your journey into the industry then. So did you study journalism at uni? What kind of route did you take into journalism?
Yeah, I didn't study a journalism degree at all because of the fact that I wanted to expand my palette and learn other things other than just journalism. And I was very thankful at the time to have an incredible mentor who's Claudia Lisa Armour. She was my mentor pretty much from the age of 17. And I was always asking loads of questions because I guess university is your last chunk of formal education before you enter into the big world. So I just took that advice on board, realised I'm still young. So I studied sociology and anthropology because I really wanted to learn more about societal issues and I guess human issues as well. So that really helped to sort of expand my mindset and to expand how I see the world in general and the kind of stories that I was interested in as a journalist. So I definitely recommend that to people. If you look at the really incredible journalists out there, whether it's Louis Theroux, Trevor McDonald, Charlene White, even Claudia Lisa Armour, they didn't actually study journalism specifically as a BA. So I would say university students don't feel like you have to within this particular area though, because I wouldn't personally go for a doctor's appointment if my doctor studied fashion. I would expect him to study a science or a biology or something of the sort. So
yeah, I agree. There's definitely different avenues into journalism. And I know you did a trainee scheme, so can you tell us a bit more about that as well?
Yes, so that's something that I highly recommend that one looks into, especially in university. First year, you won't get that pressure so much, but second year, it will just be such a really big change where you'll be asked like so many questions from people, in regards to, how are you going to get into this desired career path, or are you just going to go on the website and apply for jobs? But thank goodness for schemes. I would definitely say during the time that I was in university in 2014, there was lots of conversations about, getting into schemes and ensuring that you are, equipped enough to go for it. And a really great thing about a scheme is that they are accepting you on an entry-level basis. You don't have to have, worked for X, Y, and Z organisations before you, want to find your feet in this particular field. So I came across a couple, not a lot, but I think the one that definitely stuck out for me was creative access. And I think it's very important to go into certain schemes that are tailoring towards people that look like you in an industry where there are not a lot of people that look like you. Like, literally, there are not. But I don't think I realised that until I actually entered the industry. So I joined their mailing list, I signed up to it, I made sure I was super organised because I really wanted an opportunity. I was ready to work into my career path. I'd already done like quite a few things before graduating, so I felt equipped enough to work for one of the world's biggest broadcasting organisations. And I made sure I reflect that in my application, especially with creative access. I just spoke about the things I was really passionate about. And I got rejected, I think, twice by 2 other BBC opportunities. And then with this one, it came at such a blessing at the time. It was literally, I applied for it, let's say, a month before I graduated, and I got the yes, maybe 2 days after I graduated.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. Listen, testimony time. So, yeah, that was a blessing. So I definitely do recommend... just ensuring that you are staying up to date with these incredible diversity schemes. You build a community as well. I've met so many amazing people / friends throughout this as well. Networking events, being active on social media, always keeping your eye out. But a grad scheme is a really great place to start, and don't ever be afraid to ask questions to people who have previously done it, because if you actually go on the pages of these schemes, you'll see that they always talk about someone from their alumni or someone that's a part of their community. So don't ever be afraid to slide in the DMs and ask a few questions. Ask me. So
yeah, definitely. I'm glad you touched on that, because I don't think a lot of people know or realize that those schemes are out there. You just kind of have to do your research, I guess, be on social media, like you said, keep a lookout. I discovered those things after I started uni. So, had I known before, maybe I might have taken a different path. I don't know. Maybe, who knows? But I think it's great. There's apprenticeships people can do. There's so many other different avenues. You don't always have to go into formal education to do it. So it's kind of good. It's kind of good to know if someone decides, hey, I want to get into journalism, I want to be on TV, I want to write, and they have a different background to that they can, I guess, do their research, speak to people, have a mentor, and get their way into the industry door that way, I guess. So yeah. So what would you say is the most exciting thing on your journey that you've done so far?
Oh my days. Just so many. You know what? I don't even think it's like a particular thing, because so much has happened. Like, I've been able to travel to different countries to work and get paid for it. And I've met incredible people, whether they're just people doing incredible things or celebrities and influencers and, really successful people within their fields. But I think the most exciting part for me is whenever I'm done doing something intense, whether that's editing, a piece of an interview or whatever that took me forever to do, or, just being in a particular setting, I'm always left with that feeling of, wow, this is actually my passion. It's just that constant reminder that throughout whatever I'm doing, I always know my why.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important too, in a day and age where not a lot of people are aware of what they want to do, career-wise, and that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think once you do delve into it and you do decide to devote all your time to it, lose sleep for it, miss lunch breaks, don't ever forget to check in on yourself and ask yourself your why. But I think the most exciting moment for me is realising this is genuinely what I love to do, and it doesn't feel like work.
That's good. I guess everyone kind of wants that. You want your work to be enjoyable. Of course, you have your tough times, but I think doing work that you enjoy is really important, because you're going to be spending a lot of your time doing it. So, with your passion, actually, quick question, was it something you always wanted to do since you were young, or did you kind of just discover it along the way?
Yeah, I would definitely say, because my mum used to be a nurse, so she retired from NHS, I think maybe about 3-ish years ago. So I was just so used to seeing her in her cute uniform, with her little stethoscope thingy and the watch. And I just thought, oh, that's so cute. I want to be a nurse. And then I realised I don't really like the sight of too much blurred.
Yeah.
So that career path took a turn from as young as I can remember till about age 10, 11. I thought, no, I don't want to be a nurse anymore. And my brother David is an actor, so at that time it was really cool just seeing him like acting scenes and be on stage at the Royal Shakespeare Theatre. He was in Kidulthood and stuff like that, and I just thought that was really cool. Maybe I can get into that.
Kidulthood?
So
I need to watch that again.
yeah, no, Kidulthood, Adulthood, and Brotherhood.
Okay, I'm going to go watch them all again so I can go check.
Yeah, like he just looks like me, but he's got facial hair. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, I joined drama school, and literally so many people around me were getting picked for, I don't know, like KFC adverts and McDonald's adverts, which were paying quite well, just to appear in something for 10 seconds and eat common burger. And I never got picked for it, and I just thought, oh, and then I just stopped going. Like I just wanted to hang out with my friends instead after school, and I realised, oh, maybe I don't actually want to do this, and it's okay. I think it's, don't ever feel like whatever stage you are in life that you're wasting time or you've wasted life because you realise that something that you wanted to get into wasn't really what you desired. And I think it's so important to be in that mentality because your interests essentially feeds into a lot of your happiness, and you don't want to constantly be in a position where you're not happy about it.
Yeah.
And obviously, stuff like finances is a factor and stuff like that. But I just think with any career-related thing, don't ever be afraid to explore your interests. So I'm glad that I did, from wanting to get into nursing just because I wanted to get into acting, and then eventually the influence of my English teacher saying, Hannah, journalism, I think that's you. So I just thought, okay, we'll give this a try. And 10 plus years later, I'm still enjoying it. So yeah.
That's good. Okay, it's nice to know that you've tried different things out, and then you finally found the thing that you really enjoy doing. And I think, people should do that more often. Like, there's nothing wrong with trying something out. If it doesn't work, you move on to the next thing. So, it's just like it's a learning curve. What would you say then has been the most challenging thing on your journey so far as a journalist?
Oh, you know what? I saw this tweet by a girl at Albums called Amina, and she basically said, I'm paraphrasing it, but there hasn't been a time when she's not spoken to a black woman who has basically expressed the experience of running to the wet toilet and crying their eyes out.
Wow.
And no word but like that's been me on so many occasions. Well, not so many, but I'd say a few. Maybe about, in my 5-ish years, maybe about 10 occasions where I've literally gone to the toilet, had a cry, come out, and I'm like, yeah, hi, just completely different. And the thing is, sometimes it's stress, but it's a different kind of stress. Like, my stress derives from things that are literally out of my control. Like, I'm editing a video, but then there are no MacBooks in the department, and I'm working with an editor that says, so that kind of fuels my stress. And then, like any other workplace, difficult colleagues, I would say I suffered a bit from imposter syndrome at the start of 2019 because I was working in my most senior role and I felt like I wasn't worthy. Even though I did all the right things, I did the interview, which was excruciatingly difficult, and etc. I did all of that, but the energy in some of the people I was working with made me feel like I wasn't worthy. Because I was my colleagues were people that have been working the same job since I was literally in nappies. So imagine coming into that environment with your young self, like, okay, we're gonna, talk about positive stories about the continent of Africa. I can get an interview with Jadena, and then they look at me like, first of all, who's that, and why, what, and etc. So, I would say that it's been a variety of difficult moments of just not necessarily believing in yourself, but just in that time of adversity, just really trying your best to believe in yourself more, because those thoughts will just come in every now and then. And honestly, that is more difficult than working a 60-hour week, because I've done that. Like, I've done night shifts and, greeted many mice in the building at 5 a.m. when I'm going to record a bulletin. So, someone else may describe that as a difficulty, like having to lose sleep, etc. But I just saw it as, this is what I love to do.
Yeah.
personal things, I would just say, like who you work with, that feeds into a lot of your how you see yourself, because you're spending so much time with these people. But eventually, I was able to move past that. I surrounded myself with positivity and light, and those constant reminders as to why I deserve to be here.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful for that, because it takes people a very long time to get out of that mindset, and I didn't want to stay into it for too long, because I knew that I'm worthy.
Definitely. I've just got a quick question from someone here. It's Mark N. He says, "Are there still careers available in print journalism, or is it all digital now?"
No, my gosh. I mean, if there weren't careers available, then we would be reading. Of course there is. Absolutely. So I would say the first step is the magic of Twitter. Like, guys, 9 out of 10 times, I don't think I've ever been ignored by a DM or something. If there's ever a publication that you think is, one that you'd like to contribute to, there's loads of independent ones that will pay you, by the way. They will pay you for your work. So literally just reaching out, even doing a call out, like, hey, I'm a writer, I'm interested in X, Y, and Z, here's my website link. And I think that will definitely work in your favor if you can actually show an example of your interest as opposed to just saying it. Let that future employer know, okay, these are the things that you're interested in. And so that communication can begin, and therefore the opportunity is given. I know it sounds easy, but it's simple. I think it's more simple than easy. It's no hidden codes in order to get these opportunities. And there's loads of great print magazines out there, depending on the style of writing that you're interested in.
Perfect. I guess if we get more questions coming in, we'll take them all at the end. So I'll just scroll up, or if I haven't read them out, you can just type it up again at the end. I just want to get through a few more things with Hannah. Again, you spoke about the challenges, and I'm assuming, well, you can tell me a bit more about the imposter syndrome and why you kind of felt like that. But as we know, journalism is it's a predominantly white industry. And so I guess diversity is also one of the challenges that a lot of people face as well, a lot of minorities face. So could you kind of speak about that, and also about your platform, We Are Black Journalists, which helps to connect Black journalists together?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say when We Are Black Journalists launched on the 27th of November,
yeah.
Am I lying? No, I'm not. 27th of November, 2018. I opened it with a speech, and basically he spoke about my reality once I entered through the world of working in British broadcasting. I worked in a building of 150 people. There were 5 black people, 2 cleaners, 2 security guards, and me. Literally, that was my introduction to it. So after that, I felt like nothing could faze me, but I definitely recognise the problem that there is with diversity. Now, if we just look back to simpler times, the world's biggest broadcasting organisation was founded by a rich white man, and he hired people that looked like him, and then that fed through and fed through and fed through and fed through until we got, the first black journalist. We've got Gary Yonge from, The Guardian, Maura Stewart, who was one of the first black women to speak on British radio. So it was incredible to have the first, and then, pirate radio found its way into the mainstream. A majority of these pirate radio stations were black or black minority ethnic, so they found their own platforms again within these bigger broadcasting organisations. So it's been really great to see that growth, but it's been really slow and weird growth. Slow and weird because, I've worked on floors that produce programs that air to countries, mostly in Africa. If you look in this office, you won't even see not one person of African descent, which is wild. Yeah, and I worked in a department like that, and I spoke to the editor about that as well. Of that, I was like, this is problematic, because I've worked in departments that produce African stories where a majority of the people are African, and that's not the case, and this is problematic. And it was that alone that actually inspired me to want to launch this, because even in my 5+ years working in broadcasting, I had never, not once, come across anything like that. I'm a very active member in diversity talks, and I'll take my lunch with me to go and watch these talks and just show my support, but I never really saw that, and I could never relate. So it was a combination of that, and then also outside of where I work, connecting with other amazing Black journalists doing incredible things, and thinking, wow, like, wouldn't it be amazing if we just had like a physical network where we could meet, where we could network, you know, and uplift each other, and therefore just build that platform and that visibility. Like, wow, okay, now I know a Black journalist that works in Financial Times. I know a Black journalist that you know, works independently, creating their own video content. You know, just to sort of like create those relationships within each other, within this network, because I think visibility is key. There's loads of WhatsApp groups where we're talking about X, Y, and Z, but I really wanted that physical, safe space. And, you know, when you're starting something from scratch, I wasn't sure. I was very passionate about the idea. I hadn't spoken to anyone about it. And it just started, I spoke to you, Tracy, because obviously you're incredible and you played a really massive part. But how did I know if it was going to work? And then the first event happened and there were almost 70 people there. Okay. So I thought, okay, so I guess this does work then. And I guess I'm not the only one thinking this. So that really helped. Community.
Definitely. Just got a question from Rochelle. She says, do you ever feel like the token
Black girl?
Yeah, I guess that's the question, yeah. To tick off diversity, I'm assuming that's what she meant.
Excellent question. And I guess, have I, there's been times when I thought, was I hired just because I am Black? But I think it's an important thing to just not focus on. Like, you can't focus on that. Like, you really have to just see things for how they are and how are people generally treating you. So no, I haven't felt like the token Black girl, because I just don't know how to explain it. Like, I've been in certain settings and meetings where if it's an issue about race, I don't expect to be looked at, because I expect my colleagues and counterparts to also be acknowledged about it.
Yeah.
There's been some instances though where it's been positive. So for example, there was like a really big Twitter story where Drake and Pusha T, they were like fighting each other.
Yeah.
And they were making like diss tracks. And I remember I was in the office and I was the only person that listens to their music. I was literally the only person. They were like, we're going to go live on the news on the ground floor in like 20 minutes. No, well, they gave me more time than that, like an hour. Yeah. Would you, you know, the lady, let's call her Susie, she was, would you be, like, she was proper stuttering. I was like, hun, it's okay. I listen to Drake, I listen to Pusha T, I know who they are.
I can do it.
I can do it. It's no problem. So I went to the ground floor and did it. Obviously did a couple of Googles and etc. You don't expect me to go in there and be like, yeah, I'm just going to start rapping their songs on air. But I had an understanding of what was happening. So I guess it's worked in my favour. But I'm very big on talking about these issues. Unless I feel like I've openly been, you know, discriminated against, then I don't consider myself to be a token. I have been asked dumb questions in an open office space. One particularly, I think it was my first year, at the Beat, where I was asked, oh, how do you do braids? And I remember I was in the middle of something, and I just turned around and I said, YouTube. And I just continued my work. Like, what? Go on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious. I guess there is, I mean, there's positives that come out of being, you know, I guess, the only person that's like, you know, I guess Black or, you know, of a minority in your work.
Yeah.
But yeah, fair enough. Then I know it's like pros and cons, isn't it? But you just kind of have to like take them. Yeah, just keep doing the work, because there's a lot of things you can get kind of aggravated by and annoyed by and bothered by, but
I know people that have had it bad. Like, I know people that have had it bad, and I don't know what I would do. Like, I think it was on Tupac's birthday. One of my friends, she works in a different environment, and I think a colleague just did like the peace sign to her, like, oh hey, happy Tupac Day.
What?
Out of nowhere. I don't know what I would do.
I don't know, me neither. I just stare at you in shock, like.
Some people are just so confident, which is wild, but
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not faced that. Thankfully.
Okay, so another question from I'm Lighthouse. I guess that's Toyin.
Hey, Toyin.
Hey. She says, how were those conversations? Did you feel like you had to build up your platform before you could speak up? In regards to like we are Black journalists and not, you know, feeling like you had that community, and then like, you had to build up before you could speak up, I'm assuming? If not, comment
that's
below.
a good question. I would say building platform, I guess so, because I think by the point that I launched We Are Black Journalists, I was already well connected with a lot of black journalists, which was amazing. I was already aware of the fact that many of the things that we're feeling is quite similar. And I was very much so aware about the injustices, unfortunately, that many black journalists have faced and do face. And I am a black journalist, so I was very much so in the know. And I felt like, 5 years at the Beeb, or almost 5 years at the Beeb at that time, gave me enough exposure, and I met and probably spoke with every person I worked in diversity at the BBC, read so many articles, really clued myself up on it. So I do believe education is key before you decide to start something that is based on diversity, which is spoken about so much, but is not educated enough, unfortunately, to the people that really need to know about it.
Yeah. Okay, so currently you're in Africa right now, and you're doing freelance work. So could you kind of tell us more about what you're doing there, how long you've been there, why Africa in particular, why the different countries that you've gone to, and the process of kind of moving from London to Africa?
Yeah. So I don't know, it's a weird one. I remember being in Ghana July last year, being in a car with 2 friends and just realising, I've got to fly back to London soon. And they're both like entrepreneurs. And one was like, why don't you extend it? I was like, no, like I've booked time off work, like I need to go back. And another one said, like, why don't you just choose to work when you like? And I thought, Like, just the way that they put it so simply. Like, obviously you really enjoy your time out here. I'm originally Nigerian, by the way, but I also love Ghana, like, very much. So, and it just brought some thoughts into my head. Whereas another friend of mine who I was with in South Africa in 2018 said that she heard me speak about the strong desire to want to work in the continent, which is very interesting. I just wish I could properly recall the conversation. But I would definitely say throughout my journeys of going back and forth to Nigeria, where I'm originally from, I just became so fascinated with the continent, and my views and experiences were completely shifted. It no longer became my parents' home, but it became my home as well. And also working in the African department at work really taught me so much about the continent. I knew so much about the economy, feminism, agriculture, architecture, just like so many different things that makes a country what it is, and so many things that we're continuously seeing in the headlines. So I learned so much about these countries before actually physically going there, and I had so many contacts as well of journalists that work in each of these countries. I've got a colleague in Madagascar, just all these random places. And I thought, why can't I just immerse myself there and just be there, just exist there? I've never left the UK for longer than a month. Never lived away for university. So as well as it being a work opportunity, I knew that it would be incredible for my self-development as well.
Yeah.
So I started planning. I would definitely say it took me between May and November to plan, to save some, to make sure that I had loads of money, stashed up from freelance jobs and etc. So rather than reapplying for my role, which you usually do if you've been there a year-ish plus with the policies that I've put in place, I didn't. I decided to go freelance. I had a really good conversation with my editor about it, who was so supportive, so sweet. And before going, I also wanted to make sure that I had security in ensuring that I had 2 things that were off the ground. So I'm currently working on a podcast about people that have moved to where their parents came from.
Yeah.
So I did a random call on Twitter, and within a few days I got 100 emails from people in Sierra Leone, Gambia, Ghana, Nigeria, and Senegal, basically saying, I've moved back home. And I thought, this is amazing. So this is my podcast. Wrote a few lines, got it commissioned, and that's going to be coming out at the end of 2020. The way 2020 is turning out, only God knows. But it will be coming out this year, and I'm super, super excited. So the security of knowing, that's one thing.
Put that down.
A lot lot of my energy towards. And then, crazy enough, a museum in London reached out to me and saw a lot of the recent work that I'd done on diaspora and communities, and asked if I was planning to do anything similar on it, like about people wanting to reconnect with their roots. And I said, well, a matter of fact, yes, because I'm working on a podcast about this.
Yeah.
And I literally met the curator at the museum within a week. We spoke about what I plan to work on, and she said, I'd love to pay you if you'd be able to talk to these people, if you're able to find local photographers on the ground, because we want to exhibit them in our museum exhibition going live this year. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. So there's already two things that I'm working on. And as well as that, I'm picking up local stories on the ground.
Yeah.
The beauty of social media, as soon as I'm in a country, I have like a mini list of people that I'd like to connect with, their musicians, artists, basically anyone that is, you know, from the African continent and doing really incredible things. And, you know, I would say essentially a lot of my work isn't focusing on destruction and war and famine and corruption and all the things that are, you know, usually in the headlines in African news, but I really wanted to shed light on the amazing people that live there and therefore challenge the stereotypes of the continent. So it was really, really great being able to do that. And yeah, it's been amazing so far. Google Docs have just been amazing. Google Docs and Excel sheets I use those every day. I've been writing out like plans, you know, just constantly praying, you know, just shopping, the necessities that I needed to bring with me. I'm so happy. Like I've been here for 4 months now. Yeah. So I left in December. And I'm just really happy with everything that I've packed. Very random, Tracy, but I know you know this because you're a black girl. But I was actually beating myself up about the fact that I packed 2 wigs and hair straighteners.
Oh, really? Is
and then Corona happened. Because obviously I don't feel comfortable to go to a hair salon.
Yeah. You're like,
and now I've got wigs. Yeah. So I'm good. Yeah. So I'm genuinely really happy with everything that I packed. And then I told some friends about it. Like all of the reactions from everyone was so positive. Friends, family. I'm the only girl in the family. I have 5 older brothers. I'm also the baby of the family. So I had to sort of tell my parents in like bite sizes, just like small bits. Like, by the way, your only daughter's going to be traveling around West Africa for 6 months by herself. You know, just small bites. And it was very interesting. One reaction from my mum being, "You're a woman." And I said, yeah, I am, I guess, you know, because obviously in many parts of the continent, unfortunately, because of like cultural differences and barriers, there is that emphasis on women being seen as just weaker, I guess. You know, patriarchy is a really big thing here, unfortunately, but I decided to just rise above that, and honestly, it's been the most incredible experience. I feel so much growth as a person. I've learned so much. I'm learning every day. It is literally just changing my life, but I'm really, really thankful. I know a lot of people who wouldn't be able to do this at all. People that just think, you know what, forget it, I'm leaving. But I'm just really proud of myself that I'm persevering, and I know, especially as a woman of faith, that God wants me to be here at this particular time, in the midst of a madness and a pandemic. You know, by the grace of God, my friends and my family, they're doing well, and etc. So that just really gives me the motivation to continue doing what I'm doing out here, as well as work purposes. I'm also here for me, and I'm loving the experience.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that. You actually touched on a lot of things. I'm going to ask, how did your family react? How did your friends react? But I guess you touched on that. Quick question as well. What do you think are the main differences working when you were in London as a journalist and then now that you're in Africa?
Hey. Oh my gosh. Working in Africa, you need so much patience, you need faith, and you can't sweat the small stuff. And most importantly, throw every Western expectation out of the window. Oh, but in London, it's not this. Oh, but in London, we have trains. And then go back to London. Honestly, throw all those expectations out of the window. Timekeeping was the first thing that I noticed. Like, I'm actually setting out time to meet with people. And no offense, I don't care about traffic. I don't care. I've been able to make it here at this time. We agreed to meet here at this time. So I let it be known. It's nothing to do with me being British and we attend meetings on time, but my time is costly. So I just appreciate that, you know. So I've been very stern on that with whoever I work with in any of the countries that I've been to, that time is time, and I let it be known that I'm annoyed unless there's an adequate reason. So timing won't always work well in your favour. There's so many different ways to travel around. I thought that I would get very attached to, you know, wanted to be on a train a lot, because I've not been on a train in almost 5 months.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I just thought, oh my God, I'm going to miss having to, like, you know, quickly Zoom places. But I just think it's just all about your timing. Like, I've been taking so many, like, kekes, another word for keke, tuk-tuks in other parts of the world, like the little motorcycle taxis. That's been my really big mode of transport from, you know, Sierra Leone, Gambia, shared taxis, motorbikes. Not the biggest fan. I've taken it a couple of times because I just find it a bit scary and a little bit overwhelming. So yeah, just like getting around, definitely timekeeping. You're working in a different climate. You know, I've been standing outside doing interviews. It's like almost 40 degrees, and I'm sweating like a dog. Like I'm sweating like mad. But I guess it's just part of embracing the experience. I built myself up for it. You know, I knew that it wouldn't be easy. And mosquito bites. I've been bitten just so many times.
Oh my gosh.
These were like mad.
Oh,
and
wow.
then they're fading out, but these were like bed bugs.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy. So I think it's just adjusting. By the grace of God, I've not been sick or anything, because that's another thing that, like my brother who's an actor and travels around a lot, he says, just, you know, pace yourself with your diet and make sure that you're eating, you know, good things that you actually like. So it's nice having the freedom to go to supermarkets and buying stuff. And, you know, when I've stayed with family, I let them be known I'm a Nigerian girl, but spicy food and me, we just don't seem to agree, and then they're aware of that. So small adjustments, but not huge adjustments. It may be big for someone else looking at me thinking, oh, Hannah, like, you know, you used to go to Oxford Street and have brunch and go to these rooftop bars and do this and that. And it's like, you know, you can still get the things here, but you just do things differently.
All right. Quickly, how is lockdown Nigeria? Is it really strict, or is it like...
Lockdown in Nigeria just really depends on if you can afford it or not. I think that's the answer that I'm giving to a lot of people. Most people that are in a privileged position to be able to work from home and still have money fall into their account, they're doing fine. Many of my friends here who have like house help and etc., they're fine. They have house help to cook for them, do their washing, they have the internet, they can do whatever. But then I think it's an important thing that needs to be highlighted. You know, with a population of over 200 million people in Nigeria, there are a lot of poor people in this country. And that was my main concern, the fact that they're not being catered towards. You know, the little guy that's selling fan yoga on the street, that could potentially be to feed his family. And if you are saying that there's lockdown, meaning street sellers can no longer be, then that means people cannot afford a wage to get them by. So it was really refreshing, and I guess a relief being able to connect with other Nigerians that wanted to do something about it before the government eventually did. So that was, you know, delivering food packages. I met with quite a few single moms, like going up and down around town, just to give them the basics of what they needed. That was like yam, palm oil, rice, onions, you know, just things that they can obviously savour in bulk for their families. And mobile money, just sending that around every now and then. So it really depends on if you can afford it, because if you can't, it's not good. And we saw a spike here in Nigeria maybe about 2 weeks ago of there just being like robberies of people that were just obviously in very desperate times due to the lockdown, and just robbing and harming innocent civilians just to get some money, which is awful. So it's been a relief to see things being done to ensure that those less fortunate are helped. And it's not purely based on the president, but it's actually based on the governors, because there's 36 states in Nigeria, all running by different rules and ways of movement. And I'm obviously in Lagos, which is described as the epicenter of the outbreak, because there's about 700 cases here. So, you know, there's been really clear things and instructions to do, to walk around with like face masks and stuff like that. But I'm just being very mindful, just doing it for the great good, not going out unless I have to. But I'm also very fortunate to be in a very nice house, great electricity, lovely food, a nice balcony that I can sunbathe on, a supermarket down the road. So I'm just counting my blessings, really.
Cool. So we've got about 50 minutes left. There's two.
I
know, we're coming to an end. Almost there. But it actually cuts off at about an hour. So there's two things I really want to speak about. And if anyone has any questions, we'll answer them at the end. But the first thing that I want to touch on is practical tips for budding journalists. I guess, we're in lockdown, quarantine, all of that. What can they be doing right now to kind of making themselves stand out, be more employable? And the second part is, well, we'll get on to the second part in a second, but we also want to touch on colourism in the UK. So if you could just give us a few, maybe like top 3 tips that you have, and then we'll get on to the question.
Absolutely. Budding journalists in this time, again, don't feel pressured by the internet that you need to run 5K every day, or you have to turn into a Michelin star chef. But if you really want to get into journalism, generally what I did was just starting a platform. So I started a blog where I basically spoke about the things I was interested in, and I started regularly contributing to my blog. I spoke about anything and everything, from documentary ideas to cases that I was interested in to stories that I thought I was interested in. And I didn't realise until later that was basically me preparing my portfolio. So if an opportunity arises, even though I'd never written for any other publication apart from my blog, at least I have something to show that this is what I'm interested in, this is what I'm doing. And you can do that in a variety of different ways. It doesn't have to be a blog, it can be a podcast. You do not need a microphone. By the way, the same microphone that I'm using to do BBC interviews, the same microphone that I interviewed Femi Kitty and Mr. Easy, and it was on eBay for £20. You don't need to break the bank if you want to use practical things to actually help yourself. So podcasts are there, YouTube is there as well. Don't focus too much on the views. Obviously, get your engagement, share as many people as possible. But if you really want to actually work in it, compile things that you can show to a future employer to be like, okay, so this is what they're interested in. I can clearly see that they're consistent with their content, and I'd like to discuss further opportunities with them. But honestly, that's where it starts. Just build your own little book. If there was a book about you and the things that you're interested in, how would you write it? And there's no right or wrong way of doing it, because it's you.
I like that. Perfect tips. Thank you very much. So just the last question that I want to get onto, or kind of discussion point. I guess it was this week, beginning of this week, there's been, a lot of tweets that have come up from like well-known people on social media and influencers who've kind of, been exposed for their racist, colourist tweets about Black women. What are your kind of thoughts on that, or what did you what were your initial reactions when you kind of saw those tweets and it came from, people you never thought would happen?
I mean, I think colorism, really, we're still having these issues in 2020, and that's one thing that scares me. I remember doing a piece about it 3 years ago, because I was in a group of 2 other Black girls, and we're all completely different complexions and etc. And we were just having that mutual discussion, why is this an issue amongst our own community? I just don't get it. But in regards to influencers and that issue that they're having with it, I mean, one, I will talk about, because I follow her content. I think she's really funny and really sweet, and it's Nella Rose. I've met her on a few occasions, really bubbly, really great, and generally her content just makes me keeps me entertained. I love her content. And she was 12 or 13 years old, where she made discriminatory remarks against people from the Somali community. And someone, somewhere on the Twitter sphere, decided to resurface these tweets and therefore ruin her brand and name. First of all, it's a very malicious act to do. Secondly, the comments that she made, I'm sorry, she wasn't mature. Neither was I at the age of 12. Neither was I. I don't understand why so much energy has been fueled into purposely ruling someone out. And it is 100% a malicious act, because she is a young girl, in her early 20s, doing really well for herself, getting paid to work for herself, is an influencer working with really great brands, and someone wanted to ruin her name. But I think the main issue at hand is, you know, just the lack of forgiveness that people have for others. And it really just shows the true nature of some people's hearts.
Yeah.
I did see some tweets that suggest the likelihood of someone, you know, dragging all these influences were from the Black community. And unfortunately, I wouldn't be surprised, because this isn't the first time things like this happen. From another young, amazing lady working in tech, 130K she earns a year. She used Twitter as a platform to uplift other people, Black people that wanted to work in tech, which is heavily white. And someone called her employer to say, oh, by the way,
the reason?
Someone that's talking about her, you know, salary and etc. And I just thought it was very malicious. I'm just seeing this comment. I'll comment on it. I think her apology was very telling of the misogynoir culture we grew up in. She was a victim too. Yeah. Absolutely, stories from the north. I 100% agree. And you know, I didn't, thankfully, because most of my friends in secondary school were Black. I didn't know anything different. I have a very Nigerian surname, so what Jamaica am I from? No, I'm Nigerian. That's all I know at that point when I was young. It was the only country I'd regularly visited. So, yeah, like colorism is an issue that's affected many people, not me, but at the same time, I'll definitely put my hands up and say that I have been ignorant, you know, and I have made some comments in my friendship groups. Thankfully, by the grace of God, I didn't post online. I'm putting up my hands for that and say the same way Nella was immature at the age of 12, 13 was the same way I was. I said some rubbish crap, but it was immaturity. So the fact that she's at a mature age and at a really good point in her life that someone wants to drag her is quite malicious. And her apology, personally, I don't think she needed to post that an apology video. I think she could have just addressed it in some words. And another issue that definitely needs to be touched on is the other men who
I want to get
very derogatory, disgusting comments against Black women, but haven't been dragged in the way that Black women have. So it makes me lose some faith in humanity, and it also makes me thankful for the fact that I don't personally know these people, because those aren't the type of people that I ever want to affiliate myself with.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted to touch on that as well. I feel like just kind of off the topic of the actual, you know, tweets and stuff, the fact of the way men and women are kind of being treated, I guess it seems like it's easier for the women who, you know, these tweets have, you know, they've made these tweets and these comments, it's easier for them to kind of be dragged and cancelled. But when it comes to the men, for some reason, I don't think anyone's pulling them up. There's no accountability there. And I'm just kind of wondering why. Like, why is it so much easier to do that? It's a shame that that's kind of what's happening now. And people are just, I don't know. I just find it very strange. Yeah.
It's a shame, but it really teaches you a lot about different communities. Obviously, the way that this has been handled doesn't necessarily speak for the entire Black community, but I guess it just teaches me about the Black community I'm thankful to be a part of. I'm thankful for my Black community that don't think or act that way.
Yeah, agreed, man. I don't want any parts of that, and
at all
tarnishing people's brands and all of this, and saying terrible things about people's families and all of this. Like, I just feel like it's way too overboard. Obviously, people should be held accountable for what they've said. The things they've said are not right. It's not okay. But what more do you want than an apology? It's been tough kind of watching it unfold, and it's also kind of like same as well, like we're still going through this, we're still talking about this, like it's just
2020. I saw a tweet that says like the non-Black community must be laughing at us.
Exactly, literally.
And I just thought, because they're like, it doesn't make sense, like you're all the same racial group. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
No, it's terrible, man, but I hope we can get past that as a community. So we have got 5 minutes left. If anyone has any questions, please drop them below, and we'll get Hannah to answer them. If not, I've got a couple more questions I might ask myself. So let me just scroll and see if we've got anything.
Let me charge my phone before.
No worries.
Yeah. Charge it.
Guys, any questions, drop them below, because we've got 5 minutes to go. And I know the live's going to cut off at about an hour. Okay, I'll ask my question. If there's any, I'll just move over and ask this question instead. Give me a second. All right, so what would you say keeps you grounded and encouraged in each season?
I would definitely just say surrounding myself with positivity. And I think it's so many of the things that we decide to do on a day-to-day that really dictates how we feel about ourselves and has a really big impact on our emotions. So I ensure that I just start each day with a really great mindset, despite whatever's happening. And I think even in times like this, you just have to fill yourself with so much positivity and light. So as well as how I think and feel, the people that I surround myself play a really big part of that, as well as faith.
Perfect. Oh yes, questions about freelancing. How do you negotiate your rates when you're starting out, and how long should you work for free?
Absolutely. Negotiating rates. I wouldn't necessarily say negotiating. I just have a rate and I give it to them. And then we'll just go from there. So most of the time, I've never really been given a no. But other times, we may find a way to meet in the middle. So don't ever hesitate to DM me, for example, and ask I'm doing a podcast, it's 8 minutes long, how much should I charge for it, or how much should a 500 to 700 word article be? And obviously each organisation work under different budgets, but even if they use the B word budget, always know your worth. So I have a list of a rate. And I spoke to quite a few colleagues and I ran it by them and they said, yeah, that sounds all right. And yeah, I guess you'll definitely know, especially depending on the workflow and how you've executed. Yeah.
Okay. Quickly as well, I just want to mention Journal Resources. They have a kind of list on rates that they have for freelancers, especially if you're starting out. Depending on how long you've been in industry, writing, and so forth.
Brilliant.
So with that, and again, Hannah's here. She's here to help. So yeah, send her a DM. If you're ever unsure and want some advice on that. What else have we got here? Oh, okay. Where do you see yourself then in the next 3 years?
Oh my God. You know what's mad? Oh my gosh, in 3 years I'll be 30.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that is mad. In 3 years' time, I would have expected to, God willing, have about 3 different streams of income in 3 years' time. Married with a baby, I would absolutely love that. We would see if God brings that into fruition, God willing. And just to, be truly happy and a blessing unto others. I am a big believer in serving others and showing love in whatever way I do, and I love to do that. That's so and I just love to do that in whichever way I can. So yeah, I think that's definitely me in 3 years. 3 streams of income, a really beautiful home, and just continuously being a blessing unto others. I hope I'll be 30 in 3 years. Oh my gosh, I've got to do a yacht party or something mad. But anyway,
yeah, you've got to do something big.
I have to. Yeah,
definitely. All right. So I guess we're coming to the end. We've got a minute to go. So I guess now would be the perfect time to kind of plug yourself, let everyone know where they can find you, what you're up to next. So just give us your handles, website, all of that.
Absolutely, love. So my Instagram is the same as my Twitter, Hannah_Ajala. It's also on Facebook, my page is Hannah Ajala. Website, this is hannahajala.com. Open to chatting on the DMs, giving advice and stuff. Always happy to chat. And thank you so much, Women After Greatness, for having me. Hosted by the incredible Tracy, Landu. I hope you've plugged yourself as well, because you're doing pretty amazing, ma'am. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Oh, actually, don't forget to follow We Are Black Journos as well, at We Are Black Journos on Instagram. And
I'll drop that out.
Yes, please. And then I think it's different on Twitter, isn't it? It's We Black
Journos.
Yeah, so follow them to connect with more. Black journalists. Oh, perfect. There it is. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Women After Greatness, for allowing me to host. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys soon. And see you, Hannah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Sending love from Lagos. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.